Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this
is your Bloody Happy Hour.
Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody Happy Hour.
Hey y'all, this is April.
And this is Caroline.
This is Bloody Happy Hour.
And we are traveling all over the place today. But first, we have breaking news. Beep, 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 beep.
So as soon as we ended our quickie, we saw that our Suzanne
Simpson.
That was our missing mom out of San Antonio. Go back a couple quickies, but the husband and she had her fight with her husband in the front yard, and then the nosy neighbor saw all this stuff. She went missing. Her body has still not been found, but they have, as of right now, charged the husband with murder. So they have enough evidence or probable cause to cause him with murder, which is very hard to do when you don't have a body. So they must have a scene or a weapon or...
They had that gun in the wall. Or maybe the guy, or maybe the other guy snitched.
They have enough of something.
Does it say in the article?
In a recent Facebook post, the daughter, Suzanne Simpson's daughter, says her father took her mother's life in a state of rage.
What?
The daughter of Suzanne Simpson speaks out about her mother being the victim of abuse. Quote, "My mom was a victim of abuse from my father. My father took my mother's life in a state of rage and control. In our community, this should not be happening, and I will not stop speaking as the voice of my mother till she is found. I will forever represent all victims of domestic abuse and assault as my mother's daughter. I will tell our story over and over again with every breath. I will make sure you remember her name. Suzanne Simpson was a victim of abuse and a victim of this community. Beyond being a victim, she was a phenomenal mother, hardworking, driven, loving, and kind." Oh, the affidavit has been sealed for 30 days, so the arrest affidavit we won't know. Oh,
Look at the sweet babies. Oh my gosh. I hope he rots. How old is the daughter that posted that, obviously? Oh my gosh, this is so sad.
A major update for you in the case of missing Olmsted Park mom, Suzanne Simpson. According to court documents in Bexar County, her husband, Brad Simpson, has now been charged with her murder. It's important to note, though, sources tell us police have not yet found Suzanne's body, but we've had multiple sources confirm to our stations that they felt they had enough evidence to move forward with this warrant, even without her body. So right now, we know that Brad Simpson is here back in the Bexar County Jail. He was taken to be questioned at a DPS office in San Antonio at about 1:15, returned here about 3 o'clock. We're working to get more information on what led to this warrant and any more information that we can get.
so
Charges, we'll bring that to you on it.
So we can't, it's been sealed for 30 days, so we don't know all the other details around the arrest. Daughter must have been helpful with that. Oh, okay. Well, there's a continuation of our quickie.
Okay.
What we got?
Okay. This is the story of Colton Harris-Moore.
Never heard of him.
Well, he's also known as the Barefoot Bandit. Band-Aid. Colton Moore was born March 22nd. He's a Pisces. 1991.
Okay.
In Mount Vernon, Washington. He grew up in a trailer in the woods on Southern Camino Island, which was near Seattle, north of Seattle. I don't know where any of these places are. I'm going to tell you a lot of places and a lot of dates.
Okay.
A lot of places, a lot of dates. So his early life was pretty chaotic. His mother, Pam, drank while she was pregnant. You know what? Just drink every time you hear red flag, okay? Drank while she was pregnant, which impacted his neurocognitive development. His father, Gordon, was a drug user who got sent to prison when Colton was a toddler. When Colton was 4, his mom remarried. Are you drunk yet?
It's all pretty normal.
Yeah, I mean, actually, this is kind of... well, it's not. No. When Colton was 4, his mom remarried to a man named William Kohler, who, according to Pam, had a criminal history and had a heroin addiction.
Oh, good job, Pam.
So it's really, really good stuff happening out there in that trailer forest. And to make matters worse, Pam was said to be verbally, physically, and emotionally abusive throughout Colton's childhood.
Pam.
But when Pam drinks, she gets belligerent and violent. Like any good mother does.
There's no other way to be when you're drunk.
She's known to break her son's toys as punishment to him.
Poor, what's his name? I already forgot.
Colton.
Poor Colton.
The neighbors hear Pam screaming at Colton all hours of the day and the night. She's also neglectful, which led Colton as a child to go ask other adults, like neighbors, friends, teachers, if he could have food. Pam also did not make sure that Colton went to school. So it's not important. She was busy. She's probably like banging all these guys.
She was passed out. She didn't have
passed
time to take
out.
them.
She's doing all the things.
She did not have time to take them to school.
No. So he obviously missed a lot of school. And all of this obviously has a negative effect on him growing up.
Not at all.
When he does go to school, he bullies the other students. He is
learned behavior.
Just is mean to his teachers. And then years later, he has a psychological evaluation, and they determine that Colton has a long-term history of psychiatric and behavioral difficulties. He's been prescribed medications, psychiatric medications, including antidepressants, stimulants, mood stabilizers, and antipsychotic medications.
Listen, I see those every day.
He's also diagnosed with depression, attention deficit disorder, and intermittent explosive disorder.
Yep.
Is that when you just get rage all of a sudden? Because I feel like maybe I had that a little bit. So, when CPS gets called, which happened multiple times throughout his childhood, caseworkers recommended that Pam seek counseling for her son, but she declined.
Was it optional, Pam?
I don't know, because I was like, okay, when he's 10 years old, he's removed from the home for 3 days, but CPS had to close the investigation due to lack of cooperation from Pam. Isn't that the point of CPS? CPS is
Why do we have you?
I don't know. They need to just go away. They do not. They're trash. Anyway, I will not get on a rant, but I'm pretty sure that's the whole point of CPS. But anyway, so there's that second husband. Did I tell you about the second husband, William? Maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
Because he's on heroin.
Yes. So the second husband, William, he dies.
Wait, who kills William? Heroin overdose.
He dies when Colton is 11. And so now Pam gets in another relationship because she can't not.
She can't be,
She can't not.
Can't be by herself.
So Pam gets another relationship with a man who moves into the house.
The next day. Pam
would later describe this guy as not playing with a full deck.
Pam's telling the story.
And he's an alcoholic, she says. And ultimately, Pam ends the relationship because she has standards. Pam has standards.
At least it's going down a little bit. Like we had what was the first one? He was like a felon.
Yeah, Gordon. Gordon was in jail. Gordon went to prison.
Okay.
Daddy Gordon.
So then we had an inmate. Then we had a heroin addict. Now we just have an alcoholic. So
yeah, we're doing good.
We're getting better.
Okay, but at some point, Gordon he gets out.
Oh, he comes back.
And he come back. Daddy coming home. He's released from prison May 2003 when Colton is 12. Ooh. And he calls 911 reporting that Gordon pushed him to the ground and grabbed him by the throat. And police arrive and Gordon flees into the woods.
Now, is Gordon daddy though?
Daddy.
He is daddy. Okay.
Yeah. So Daddy just gets home and he just decides he's going to take over and he's going to just start beating him up. And he's like, I ain't dealing with this. I've already dealt with the heroin guy. I already dealt with this guy, the alcoholic guy.
Yeah.
You ain't nothing for me. So then Daddy flees into the woods. Police come. They end up finding him, take him back to jail. He gone back to jail.
The next day.
The next day. After that, Gordon cuts off contact with Colton and Pam, which I'm like, okay, well, good. You're in jail anyway. Well, I guess he's not in jail because it says the police arrested him, take him to jail, but then I guess he just gets out and then he moves to Las Vegas. But Pam blames it all on Colton.
Colton, it's your fault.
Yeah. I mean, he called 911.
Yeah. Huh. You were born.
So by this time, Colton is 15 years old. And he has had CPS come to his house to respond to incidents 12 separate times.
Just 12.
Just 12. Later that same year, I'm telling you there's a lot of dates happening here.
Wait, who came 12 separate times? CPS?
CPS.
And they closed the case 12 times.
I'm sure they did, because they ain't doing shit.
They were like, well, Mama won't cooperate, so...
Yeah, Mama won't...
Can't lead a horse to...
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Okay.
You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube.
You can't.
You can't. Try it. It's going to take you a while. So November 2003. I just said he was 15 years old, and now he's 12. Okay. Anyway.
That's bloody happy hour math.
November 2003. Colton is accused of breaking into a business of Stanwood. I don't know. And he broke into Stanwood Middle School, stealing a laptop and CDs, and defacing a bulletin board. He probably wrote, like, fuck you on it or something. I don't know. I mean, why not? So he pleads guilty to possession of stolen property and is sentenced to 6 months supervision and 56 hours of community service. And a social worker reports that Colton wants Mom to stop drinking and smoking, to get a job, and to have food in the house. But Mom refuses.
He just wants Mama to be a mom.
I really
Listen,
don't.
Colton, nobody will be mad at you if you just kill Mom.
Just
and
wait.
Be done.
So, yeah. In 2004, which a year later, so a year goes by, Colton's probation officer writes, Colt and his mother have a tumultuous relationship.
Do they now?
Colton's mother reported to me that, Colton's mother. Okay, now the mother is reporting. Okay, so Pam's reporting to this probation officer that he is violent at the home on a daily basis.
Has every reason to.
He recently broke the telephone in order to prevent her from calling the police.
I'm co-signing with Colton still.
She then showed me a mark on her forearm of how he bit her and went after her with the boat oar. As he should. His mother reported how Colton is now medicated and complying with his taking his medication, and his behavior has not been hostile towards her.
Okay. So first he was going crazy. He got on medication. Now he's stabilized.
Yes. Like, clearly, you're basically giving what you got. Like, you're being treated... You're treating the person how they treated you. Do not feel bad for how you are treating that other person.
Yeah.
You're reacting.
It's learned.
It's learned. Exactly. December 2005. A police report is made alleging that 14-year-old Colton assaulted his mother in the summer of 2006.
Mother probably started taking his medicine.
Colton is due to appear in court, but he was scared to go back into detention, and so he runs away before the hearing. And here we go with the fun. He starts breaking into homes on Camano Island and watching internet porn on the resident's home computer. He's like, I ain't gonna get in trouble for this because I'm gonna go to these people's home. He's breaking into their home, watching porn on their stuff.
Okay.
So he breaks into unoccupied vacation homes through the skylights.
Okay.
And then squats in their homes for several days
Before
moving on, taking food and portable electronic devices.
He's
with
living
him.
his best life.
It gets so much better. It gets so good. When he's not on vacation, when he's not vacation home squatting, he camps out in the woods. And by this point, he's dropped out of school, and he would have been in the 9th grade.
Oh, Colton.
A baby.
Colton.
January 2007, after 6 local burglaries, the Island County Sheriff's Office puts a wanted poster of his picture and his information. So there's 15,000 people on this island. What island is this? It's probably
Staten.
15,000 people on this island, and that's usually where people go to vacation. So there's 5,000 households, so it's a tiny place. Everyone knows that this is Colton who's doing all these robberies or doing these burglaries. They just kind of know. And it starts appearing in the media. In a matter of weeks, there's local residents that are like, they notice that, oh, so-and-so's lights in the house are on, but we know that they're not there vacationing, so we know Colton's over there doing his thing or whatever, because that's an empty home right now. So the police get it called, and they arrive. They tell Colton, the house is surrounded. It's surrounded, and blah, 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 blah. Even though it's actually not surrounded, they just set up a bunch of flashlights to make him think it looked like cops.
Because there's
were
probably
around the
like
house.
4 cops on the island.
And so he falls for it, and he comes out and he gives himself up. So in court, he pleads guilty to 3 of 23 felony counts against him.
Okay.
And his Aunt Sandra writes to the court in support of her nephew, saying, I love that boy. He's like one of my kids. I think he got mixed in the wrong crowd, and he got himself in too far.
The wrong crowd is his mom.
The
and all
wrong
his
crowd is his mom
stepdads.
and his 18
And
stepdads.
where were you at his childhood? Aunt Sandra. What's her name?
Aunt Sandra.
Aunt Sandra. Aunt Sandy.
So Colton is sentenced to 3 years confinement, ordered to stay in a group home in Renton, Washington. So we're in Washington.
Okay.
I don't know. April 22nd.
That's where we started off.
Okay, that's where we're back.
Okay.
April 22nd, 2008. 17-year-old Colton breaks out of the group home because he had to go stay in this group home. He's like, fuck this group home, I'm out.
And he ought to feel like content. Like he's
No,
got
he can't.
food now. He's got like
But I don't think he's being stimulated.
Now he's just like, I need some action.
Yes, so he breaks out of the group home. He sneaks out of a window and goes on the run. And he's soon... South Camino Island residents are reporting break-ins to the police. A couple months later, he allegedly steals his neighbor's Mercedes and crashes it into a propane tank behind a cafe.
He don't know how to drive.
He flees the scene, but leaves behind his backpack, which has his journal and stolen credit cards,
Dummy.
a GPS, his cell phone, a digital camera that he used to take selfies with.
Ugh. I knew somebody who did
So
that.
they pretty much know it's him, obviously, but he's still on the run. A couple of months later, he steals money from an ATM, but they still haven't caught him. I don't even know how he steals money from an ATM. I don't even know.
He is so smart.
Just wait. September of the same year. Okay. He steals money from another ATM on Orcas Island, and in the process, he cuts himself and he leaves blood on the machine.
So they take the DNA.
So they're able to take the DNA to later compare it with other crimes because, obviously, breaking the law. November 12th of the same year, he breaks into a locked airplane hangar on Orcas Island. This Orcas Island is like, he loves this Orcas Island, wherever this is.
It's his island.
Yeah, it's his island. And he steals a Cessna 182 airplane worth about $150,000.
Wait, steals the airplane?
Yes.
And just driving
Just wait. He has never...
Is this fact or fiction?
He has never had a flying lesson. He doesn't even have a driver's license.
No, he's impulsive.
And the
needs some
plane
medicine.
belongs to Seattle radio personality Bob Rivers at 102.5 KZOK.
Bob.
So he somehow figures out how to fly the plane, fly it over the Cascade Mountain Range.
And
He
die.
threw a white, I don't know what this means. He threw a white out. Whatever.
Oh, like he made a skid mark in the sky.
Oh!
This white
At
smoke.
13,000 feet. And all these wind gusts, which apparently is not ideal to do that. So,
like
I don't even
Kobe.
know how he gets the plane off the runway when you don't even know how to fly. Like, there's so many buttons on the plane.
He don't have anything to lose.
So, we think that obviously he taught himself how to fly through some simulation software on laptops and had been studying plane manuals for hours, maybe when he would break it into these houses.
Oh.
He was very smart.
He was, and bored as hell.
He ends up crashing the plane 300 miles away on Yakima Indian Reservation. When police get to the scene where the plane had crashed, they don't find Colton, but there's vomit inside the plane. So they take a sample and they compare, because they had nothing else to do. So they're going to let's compare the DNA, the sample of the blood from the ATM and the sample of the throw up from the plane. And apparently, he was just probably nervous. He's having turbulence. He don't know how to fly this plane. He's doing all these wind waves or whatever they're called. And so then motion sickness, whatever, and they ended up finding that they matched. It was the same thing.
Love it. Police work.
So they look into more unsolved cases and different burglaries that are associated with him and what he could have been responsible for. And there are now 70 cases throughout the Pacific Northwest, including Washington State, Idaho, Oregon, several locations in Canada, mainly residential and commercial burglaries, bank burglaries, vehicle thefts, boat thefts, aircraft theft, and assault to police officers. And Colton is alleged to have stolen or destroyed around $3 million worth of property.
Oh, my goodness. So he was just like, okay, I've broken into a house, been there, done that. Let's go to a car. Let me steal some cars. Been there, done that. Let me grab a boat. Okay, been there, done that. Let me go to a plane. All right. So what is next?
I don't know. Let's see.
Rocket. He's coming to SpaceX.
He's basically on SpaceX right now. He's hanging out with Elon. So finally on March 12, 2009, a felony warrant is issued for his arrest. So now we're getting serious. Before they could exercise the warrant, obviously they got to find him.
He's going to escape jail.
September 11th, 2009, Colton stole a Cirrus SR-22 plane, another plane, worth about $500,000 from a town called Friday Harbor, also in Washington State. And he crash lands the plane back on Orcas Island.
It's his familiar spot.
So he's kind of doing all this stuff around the same area. He's basically like, I don't give a fuck. I'm just going to get a plane and crash it on my island. I'm going to get a plane and crash it on my island. All the things.
Is he a cute little boy? I feel like he's a cute little boy.
He sounds cute. I'd probably date him. I'd probably marry him at this point. So after the crash, Colton is seen walking away from the wreckage by a police officer. He is seen walking away. First, the officer is like fist bumping my guess. I don't know, because for some reason, the cop does not detain him.
Oh, because maybe he's far enough away from the wreckage.
I think the officer was like, "You're my hero, bro." Like, I don't know, but
he's not a suspect.
The same month, Colton makes his way to Canada in a stolen boat. And then he ends up making his way back to the U.S. through the British Columbia, and he's going undetected. I don't know how he's doing all this. A couple of weeks later, September 29th, he steals a Cessna T182T from a hangar in Bonners Ferry, Idaho, and he leaves bare footprints on the ground. He takes off in the plane in Idaho, and he again flies over the Cascades, but he crash lands 60 miles away near Snohomish, Washington, because he runs out of fuel while he's flying. So October 1st, 2009.
He's trying to get over them Cascades, and he just can't.
He can't.
So he just keeps trying. He keeps trying.
So somebody
he takes the boat back, and he tries it again.
he tries again. This guy near Granite Falls finds the plane wreck. The police trace these bare footprints to the crash site to a campground, like a camp in the woods. But there's no sign of Colton. The next day, a second felony arrest warrant is issued for Colton, and he is charged with forced entry, burglary in the second degree. A few days later, SWAT officers are searching the area for Colton and are fired at by an unknown assailant. So now this is building to the degree to where like the media is getting involved, and now he's being called the Barefoot Bandit.
What year are we in?
We are in 2009.
Oh, that was just the other day.
Yeah. He's the Barefoot Bandit now, and the media's
Okay.
involved. It's getting serious. Even though he really typically wears shoes, it's
Just that one time.
Just that one time. And it sticks. So,
I wonder where his shoes were that day.
I don't know. I guess he's like, my feet hurt. I want to take my shoes off. So when Colton's mother, Pam, she back. She hears about the latest theft, and she says, I'm proud of him. I was gonna send
too, just a little bit.
gonna send him to flight school, but I guess I don't have to. But next time, I want him to wear a parachute.
A parachute.
Way to
So
go.
He don't get hurt.
Way to go, Pam.
So she knows him? Everybody knows him?
They all know it's him. They just can't catch him. That's why it's catch me
So
if
they
you
have-
can.
So they have his picture up and everything.
They got all. If you haven't seen the movie Catch Me If You Can with Leonardo DiCaprio,
Uh-huh.
that's like this. It's like they know who it is.
They just
can't
him.
catch him. So he's like getting popularity and all the things. So much so that the public makes a Facebook page for him.
What?
And of course, this is 2009, so the Facebook page gets like over 100,000 followers. Posts on there saying like, let's hope that he remains healthy, free at large for a long time. Fly, Colton, fly.
I'm rooting for Colton.
I am too. It gets so popular that people are making t-shirts, tote bags, mugs that have Colt's picture on them with the caption, Mama tried.
What? Mama tried.
Okay, by the way,
Him better.
By the
What
way,
is Colton's last name? I need a
it's-
visual.
Yeah, I do too. Okay, it's
You did this whole story. You didn't know what he looks like?
Colton Harris-Moore. No, I do, but
Here it is.
he was just average.
Oh, shaved head. Yeah.
But he probably had to shave his head in prison. Or I don't know. Maybe, who knows? So, where'd I go? Oh, yeah.
Colton looks like my brother Kenny.
Well, crashed the plane. Wait, did I tell you about the interview? Oh, yeah. Fly, Colton, fly. So the he's flying the plane. He gets nervous. Oh, I went way. Oh, there we go. So, Mama tried. They said Mama tried. They put that on the mugs, but Camino Island locals who've had their belongings stolen or damaged were not amused. They were not having it. They were like, no, this is not funny.
No.
You are not making t-shirts and mugs and all this stuff. They ended up launching their own counter blog.
I'd be like, Colton, you can come stay in my vacation house. Just don't make a mess.
Yeah. In
Clean
an
up after
attempt,
yourself.
they tried to raise money to hire a bounty hunter to track him down.
Dog. Here comes Dog. Dog
But
the bounty
Colton
hunter.
is living his best life. So now this is becoming international news. Reporters from all over the globe are traveling to Camino Island to report on the search for the Barefoot Bandit.
I need a movie, and I need Carl.
Colton on the run.
I need Carl.
There is 48 hours. There's all kinds of
No,
stuff.
I need a full movie
Uh-huh.
or series, and I need. Did you watch Shameless?
It was like it made me feel bad.
It was real trashy.
Yeah, it made me feel bad. I felt like, I don't know, it made me feel bad.
I need Carl from Shameless to play Colton. He would be the best. If you guys are Shameless watchers, Carl from Shameless. I'm trying to think what else he played on that you would have watch them.
Was it the main guy?
No, he's the little brother on the show.
Oh, yeah, I would have no idea. We'll look it up on IMDb. So now this is becoming international news. They're all trying to get this Barefoot Bandit. They all want to talk to Mama Pam. Pam publicly encourages Colton to escape to a country that does not extradite to the U.S. So this entire time that Colton is on the run, he has been calling Aunt Sandra once a month to let her know that he's okay.
Oh, Aunt Sandy.
I mean, Auntie's always be coming through. But Sandra's like, bro, just turn yourself in. Come on.
I'll put some money on your books.
Yeah. It's like, just turn yourself in. I'm not going to turn you in, but you turn yourself in. So, December 11, 2009, U.S. District Court in Seattle issues a federal warrant for Colton because of the aircraft theft from Idaho in September. So, everything's kind of like starting to stack up. Now we're in February 2010. 18-year-old Colton has been eluding police for nearly 2 years at this point. He allegedly steals a plane from a town called Anacortes. I don't know. And he flies it over to, guess, Orca Island.
What is in Orca Island?
Somehow escaping the attention of the Vancouver air traffic controls. He's like going out and stealing stuff and just bringing it back to Orca Island. Everything's at Orca Island. Now I need to go to Orca Island. Now,
so is he landing this plane now and just getting out?
Everyone
Sounds
is.
like he's not crashing anymore.
I know. Well,
it's getting better.
At least he's starting to land a little bumpy landing. Everyone is on the hunt for him. U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, the Royal Caribbean Mounted Police, the FBI, the U.S. Coast Guard, officers from 6 different Washington counties with tracker dogs, SWAT teams, police helicopters with infrared heat sensors, and yet they cannot find him. And after this, Colton breaks into an Orcas Island deli and eats an entire cheesecake.
Oh, he's
just hungry. He's literally living his best life with
he is.
vandalizing. He also vandalized the security system, which is like $6,500 worth of damage.
See, I wish he wasn't so destructive.
I know.
Like, quit costing people money.
He then draws 39 bare feet on the floor with chalk, with his prints leading out the door. So he's just like having fun.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like 19.
He knows his days are counted.
And he writes the letters CYA, like see ya.
Yeah.
I thought it was cover your ass, but it's see ya, like see ya.
Yeah.
Next to the footprints. So he spends months hiding out in these Orcas Islands. He commits 20 more break-ins and burglaries while he's there. Police release surveillance camera photos from Island Market in the hope that somebody would recognize him, but they think that he's hiding in the woods. And then
where he grew up is in the woods. He knows how to live in the woods.
On May 31st, 2010, Colton leaves, and he leaves $100. Oh,
to Aunt Sandy.
He leaves $100 at the animal hospital in Raymond, Washington, with a note that says, "Drove by, had some extra cash. Please use this money for care of the animals."
Oh, somebody put that right in their pocket and went to Thirsty Thursday afterwards.
Maybe, but that was so sweet. I love Colton. Signed, Colt and Harris-Moore, a.k.a.
Oh, and put his whole full name.
Colton Harris-Moore, a.k.a. the Barefoot Bandit.
No, he just wanted
it's like, no, we do love him. June 1st, 2010. He steals $450,000 fishing boat.
How much?
$450,000.
So he goes to the marina and he's like,
"Hey, there's a boat with
the
keys.
most expensive one. Let me go and get that one."
Mm-hmm. And this is in Ilwaco, whatever, not far from Raymond, to cross the Columbia River. The boat ends up being recovered in someplace in Oregon. From there, he steals a series of cars and heads east across Oregon to Idaho. 11 days later, on June 12th, authorities in South Dakota find an abandoned vehicle with Washington plates. Then, on the night of June 18th, Colton pries open the doors to an airport in Norfolk, Nebraska. He uses a broom to try to force his way into the cockpit window, hoping to unlock the plane, but it doesn't work. So instead, he steals an Escalade from the airport and he drives it to Iowa and dumps it when he gets there. He then steals a car, drives it to the airport in Ottawa, Iowa, where he again tries to break into a plane, but again, the Barefoot Bandit fails, so he steals yet another car and drives to Dallas City, Illinois, and from there, authorities lose track of him. But wait, there's more! And then in June 2010, another arrest warrant is issued, this time in Madison County, Nebraska, with the counts of break-ins, vehicle theft, and attempted airplane theft. So basically, he's just going through and doing all these crimes, breaking in, breaking out, and they're just behind him, like they're just like on his tail, but he's going state to state. This is literally Catch Me If You Can. July 3rd, 2010, Bloomington, Indiana, Colton steals a 4-seater Cessna 400 airplane worth $650,000 on Monroe County Airport. During his flight, he takes videos of his journey from inside of the cockpit. He's basically live streaming.
Go live.
He's live streaming. And this time he gets smart. He going to the Bahamas.
Okay. Forget the mountains you kept trying to go over.
And then he crashes his plane into a shallow waters off the coast of Great Aboko Island.
Can you swim, Colton?
He's white, so I think so. Soon after that, break-ins are reported across the island, and now the FBI is involved, and they're offering a $10,000 reward on information leading to his arrest. Special agents are like, we want to get him. He's turned into a regional nuisance and into an international phenomenon or whatever. So U.S. law enforcement traveled to the Bahamas. They launched this full-scale wanted posters. CCTV footage captures him visiting bars and restaurants in the area. He is on vacation, bro. And he is literally the bandit on vacation.
We're writing him a letter. Tell us where he's going to be in prison so we can write him a letter.
Mama Pam then hires an entertainment lawyer.
What?
Because she's like... because there's inquiring people wanting to know. They want to buy the rights to Cold Story and books and movie deals. But she's not interested. She just has, I don't know how all that works, but she gets this entertainment lawyer because she's like, we're not interested in doing any movie deals. We're going to just do it when I'm ready. I don't know.
What?
She puts a sign at the end of her road of her driveway to her trailer. And it says, if you go past this sign, you'll be shot. So, blah, 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 blah. July 7th, 2010. Bahamian ferry boat captain sees somebody matching Colton's description swimming on the northern end of Lithoria, whatever island. And he noticed that the ignitions on a bunch of ferries had been messed with and damaged, so he puts the two together. And 3 days later, on July 11th, around 3 in the morning, a security director at this marina, Harbor Island, sees somebody running away from boat docks towards the marinas to exit. He's sure it's Colton, so he pursues him on foot. When he catches him, he realizes it's the Barefoot Bandit himself, and he realizes the Barefoot Bandit now has a gun. So Kenny backs off, and he calls the Bahamian police. So Colton runs back towards the dock, and he climbs into a boat. He finds a boat that has keys in it. He starts that boat, and police arrive. They tell him to turn the boat off. Turn the boat off. He doesn't. He takes off, and now they're like in a pursuit, on a boat pursuit.
On the water.
On the water, on a boat pursuit. So he is like, it's like a movie.
Why is there not a movie?
There might be. It might be Colton on the run. So they're like, put the gun down. They're like trying to get him to stop, pull over, blah, blah, blah. So I guess they end up pulling him over. They tell him to put his gun down. He puts it to his head. He's threatening to kill himself.
He ain't.
because he says he can not go back to jail. The police get closer and closer. He throws the gun in the water and his laptop, or it says he throws the gun and his laptop overboard. And his wild ride is finally over, and 19-year-old Colton Harris-Moore is arrested. He's photographed walking barefoot with his ankles shackled. Authorities fly him to Nassau for processing. He's not showing any signs of fear or distress at this point. He don't give 0 Fs. And he actually, they go back to find his gun and laptop, and they seize all of his stuff and blah, blah, blah. Inside of his backpack, this is what they find. A Boy Scouts of America certificate, 2 5th grade class photos, some airplane sketches, a Waffler PPK, which is the same gun that James Bond uses. So
he found that in somebody's house.
So he's like a little boy with all these things, I guess. So in July 23rd...
He is. Those are like his possessions.
So July 13th, 2010, he pleads guilty to entering the Bahamas illegally because you can't just fly to the Bahamas and then like go swimming and do all the things. You have to like have a passport and stuff, I guess. So he's sentenced to 3 months in jail or $300 fine. Mama Pam wires him the money to get out. He gets deported to the U.S. and he's flown back to Miami. He's taken into federal jail. Pam issues a statement, whatever, glad he's not hurt, stupid, blah, blah, blah. So July 21st, 2010, he's transferred to federal detention center in Seattle. He appears in court the next day. He waives his right to preliminary hearing and a speedy trial. So November 18th, he pleads not guilty in federal court to charges of interstate transportation of a stolen plane.
Why would he
a
plead
plane,
not guilty?
a boat, and a stolen gun, of being a fugitive in possession of a firearm, and flying without a pilot's license. And the same month, 48 Hours did an episode on him.
In the same month that he went to jail? I mean, that all this is happening?
Yes. Both Pam and Sister Sandra write letters to the court in an attempt to explain what led to Colton's antisocial behavior.
Well, his dysfunctional trailerhood.
Colton writes, Mama Pam, this boy has had many disappointments in his life. His stepfather died, and our dog. Ma'am.
No, Pam.
Ma'am.
I need you to put your name first.
I'm going to need you to, ma'am. And this had severe effects on Colton and I. Yeah. He does things without thinking of the end results. Ma'am! You're his mom! Court proceedings continue. In March, the FBI confirms that reward money is split among the people, all these people. He then pleads guilty to 7 counts on federal indictments. Under his plea deal, he agrees to forfeit any profits from selling or publishing rights to his story.
What?
August 2011, 20th Century Fox pays more than $1 million in exchange for the rights to his story. The studio sends money directly to the U.S. Marshals to distribute it amongst Colton's victims.
I would say, no, hell no.
That September, a psychological evaluation finds that Colton's delinquent behavior is driven by depression, PTSD, and basically suicidal tendencies. I guess if he's like flying the plane, he's like a suicidal tendency. I don't know.
It's just like he did not care what was going to happen to him. He just needed that rush.
Yes.
Sure, I'll fly a plane. If I die, great. I don't have anything to lose. Like, he didn't care if he lost his life.
Exactly. So
He wants that rush.
He's eventually sentenced by the state of Washington to 7 years in jail plus 3 years supervised probation.
That's it.
And
he's out right now.
And the judge notes that Colton has a genuine remorse for his crimes. As a high-profile convict, Colton initially was placed in solitary confinement for his own protection, which is obviously horrifying.
Why? For his own protection? He didn't do shit. Otto won his autograph.
I know. So January 2012, he's sentenced to 6. I guess he gets sentenced in all these different districts.
Oh.
So this is the Federal District Court of Seattle. They sentenced Colton to 6.5 years in prison. He'll serve both state and federal sentences concurrently, and it's determined that he owes his victims $1.3 million in restitution. 2 months after he goes to prison, author Bob Friel publishes a book called The Barefoot Bandit, The True Tale of Colton Harris-Moore, New American Outlaw. In 2010, 2 documentaries are released about his experience. In May 2016, his Mama Pam dies of lung cancer. In 2016, also, he pleads guilty. He pleads to get out of prison early to work with... Okay. He pleads with the prison to get out early so then he can go and work with his lawyer, the law firm, during the summer. And the attorneys were like, they had agreed that, yeah, he could work part-time for the law firm doing clerical work. But at the same time, he would look into getting a full-time job and then going to college.
Wait,
so
just to get out, period, or like to get out for a summer, like a summer internship?
He just wants to get out of prison early. He just wants to get out early.
Early release.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. His attorneys are like he grew up out of poverty, not a desire to harm people or cause trouble.
Yeah, he didn't hurt any. I mean, he hurt their pocketbooks. But
Yeah, but they were all there was the vacation homes.
Yeah.
They're fine.
Insurance. They had
September
insurance.
2016, he's transferred to Stafford Creek Correctional Facility, blah, 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 in Seattle. He starts working with his lawyer. He starts working for his lawyer, but he hopes one day to study aeronautics. Yeah, aeronautical engineering. Aeronautical. In December 2016, 25-year-old Colton is released from his work release program, remains under supervision. He starts a GoFundMe and raises $125,000 for private and commercial pilot license training and helicopter certification. But the federal probation officer shut it down because he's not allowed to do that. And he's
so popular.
He's saying that the $1,600, okay, but $1,600 of that goes directly to victims, but he also put stuff on Twitter about the GoFundMe. He's like, I didn't consult my lawyers before I did this, so he has to like give that GoFundMe money back to the restitution people, and all the things. Were almost there. April 2019, like yesterday. Colton asked the court for his supervised release period to be shortened. He wants to be allowed to visit friends overseas, accept work outside of Washington State, and be a motivational speaker. He says that he claims that this work will help him pay off the restitution that he owes to the victims, telling the court, I've learned from my past. I do not run from it, but instead try to embrace it for the better. I hope to serve as a model for people who have hard lives and who feel hopeless. I saw it every day when I was confined, and I've seen it in the world upon my release. And then in May 2019, his request was denied. He was ordered to complete his probation. Not much is known about him as of today, although on his LinkedIn profile, he describes himself as a former international fugitive turned entrepreneur focused on education, progress, and success. Life is what you make it. My intention is to build connections with people who are both clearly motivated and with whom may lead to a mutually beneficial outcome along the lines of problem solving, productivity, and accomplishing goals. That is what it's all about. Can we please get a TED Talk up in here? And do we need to talk to Lauren? He's coming next.
He's going to get a job immediately when he gets out and make a ton of money and probably have his own show.
And this is the story of the Barefoot Bandit, Colton Harris-Moore.
Wow. Wow. Great story. I think that's better than Catch Me If You Can.
There was no murder involved, but it was...
It's okay. We need a break sometimes.
Somebody brought it up. Somebody mentioned this story about if I had heard about this case.
Had you?
Recently. And yes, I had listened to a podcast years and years ago, and I was like, I swear I've heard of this story, but I'm like, I have got to figure out who, because I've listened to it. So that's what I wanted to do, because I was like, oh. Wow. It was so good because it was like riveting. The whole thing was like,
yes.
Just kept going and going and going. Whew. I got to pee.
Me too. That was good. I was hoping he was just going to keep going for a little bit longer.
I know. And I feel like we
But I think when he gets out, he's got a scheme under
do we even know if he's out?
When he gets out. Oh, he may be out?
I don't know.
He's got a scheme under his belt.
I know.
Something's going to
happen.
happen.
Maybe he's coming to Waco and we can meet him, have him on the podcast.
He'll probably work for Baylor.
Likely.
Great story, great story. Okay, we'll see y'all next week, and we're going to have a guest.
We're going to have a guest.
We're going to talk about the famous brothers.
The Menendez.
So if you haven't watched the show, you don't have to, because I'm going to tell you all about it. And I guess I need to start it ASAP. Don't forget to
Stay aware.
stay alive.
And always be DTF.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Are you a podcaster? Let's talk podcast hosting. Are you tired of your current podcast host? Need real support in a community that gets it? At Rogue Media Network, we offer top-tier podcast hosting services to help you thrive. From hosting and distribution to dedicated support, we've got you covered. Starting as low as $25 a month. Join our community of passionate podcasters today. Contact us at hello@roguemedianetwork.com.